What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I want to talk about this rumor, this persistent rumor that keeps spreading or keeps going around social media today, maybe the last 2 days, but especially today. Now, look, we all know that for many years, many people in the media have been trying to push this narrative that Giannis isn't happy in Milwaukee. Okay? No matter what was being said from Giannis himself or from the Bucks front office, you had people in the media, in particular Sham Charania, who've been pushing. Brian Windhorst is another one. Stephen A. Smith is another one. They've been pushing this. Giannis really wants to leave. Don't believe what's being said. Giannis wants to go. And that's because they collectively don't want Giannis in Milwaukee. And I think you can make a strong argument that the NBA doesn't want Giannis in Milwaukee. If you watch how those games are officiated, if you watch how those games have been called, they don't give Giannis the superstar calls that he really should be getting. You know what I'm saying? He's the most physically accosted player in the NBA, but he doesn't lead the NBA in free throw attempts. This year he doesn't. But this is the first time that I think Giannis is starting to falter to the pressure. I think he's starting to falter to the pressure of wanting to go elsewhere, even though he has not definitively said he want to be traded. At this point in time, you have to look at some of Giannis's actions, and they do seem to sort of indicate that he at least is willing to listen to the possibility of being traded, right? So because of all of that, we've heard all of these speculations about where he wants to go or where he might go. One of those teams has been the New York Knicks, right? So today, we saw reports of Giannis supposedly have purchased a home in Brooklyn, right? And so that has certainly bolstered talk of Giannis going to the Knicks or Giannis being very interested in going to New York. So to me, I did a little bit of research. Didn't even take more than 5 minutes doing a little bit of research. And to me, I think it's much ado about nothing. First of all, it's an apartment building that he purchased. He purchased this apartment building back in November. Now, with these types of purchases, negotiations from purchasing the property from the previous owner, oftentimes these negotiations can take a couple of months, which means that Giannis probably was talking to that property owner maybe since August, right? So this is before the season started. Secondly, the property itself, from what I've seen, cost about $2.5 million. But it's a 28-unit apartment building where the average person in that vicinity makes about $70,000 a year. By New York City standards, that's not a lot of money. Okay money if you live in Mississippi or Georgia. Well, I wouldn't say Georgia, especially Atlanta, but Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, that's good money. New York, no, that's kind of low income. Giannis is not going to live in a 28 apartment, low income building. Okay. Giannis purchased this property to me, I would assume, just for property ownership purposes. That's it. He's not going to live there. This ain't coming to America. He's not a king. He ain't coming to Brooklyn or Queens to find his queen. He already got his queen. He ain't living hood rich. Giannis, if anything, if Giannis had moved to the outskirts of New York or, maybe Staten Island, then I might believe it. But the hood, come on, y'all. Giannis isn't coming to New York. I sincerely doubt that. I could be wrong. And of course, if I'm wrong, I'll make a video saying I was wrong. But I will tell you what makes sense to me. That from a basketball chemistry standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. Because I don't think Giannis and Luka can coexist because of their play style. But I could see the NBA trying to arrange something. Because look, at this point in time, when you look at how Luka got traded to the Lakers, I don't put anything past the NBA as far as rigging shit, okay? Or doing things to manipulate, the landscape of the NBA is what I'm trying to say. Look, now hear me out. Even though I don't think it's a good fit basketball wise, I could see the NBA allowing, keyword allowing, italicized, allowing Giannis to go to LA. First of all, we already know that Luka wants it. Secondly, I'm gonna tell you something else. This is just my opinion, and maybe you agree with it or not. I don't think the NBA likes OKC being this goddamn good. Okay, like when you look at the history of dynasties, right? They usually have been large market teams for the most part, right? You had your Boston Celtics, you had with Mike and I wouldn't say the 70s team was a dynasty, but they did go to several finals, an aging Baylor, an aging West, an aging Wilt, Showtime Lakers, Shaq and Kobe, right? It wasn't quite a dynasty, but you had Pau Gasol and Kobe, right? You had your Boston Celtics dynasties, all the stars in the 60s, Russell, Cousy, Havlicek, Sharman, Casey Jones, Heinsohn. You even had your Boston Celtics teams in the 70s with Havlicek and Cowens and JoJo White, Bird, McHale, Parrish, the Big Three, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Rondo. You get where I'm going with this, right? The Bulls in the 90s, Michael Jordan, Pippen, that's all of it. But for them to have a potential dynasty with a small market team, which doesn't ooh and all the basketball world. I mean, the purists of those of us who love basketball, we like what's going on in OKC, but it's a small market team. The same problem that Tim Duncan had with the Spurs. So I wouldn't put it past the NBA to try to bring Giannis to LA to try to create some team to rival that OKC Thunder team. Because even with the Golden State Warriors in the mid-2000 teams, at least you still had Cleveland there to be a foe to them. You know what I'm saying? Now, the only problem about this whole scenario is who does Milwaukee get in the trade and how you get around LeBron James. The LeBron thing would be kind of tricky. I mean, he has a $53 million contract. I don't know exactly what will be left on that $53 million contract if they made the trade, but, and plus he's in control of his own destiny. So, exactly what the Lakers had to give up, I don't know. But I do have a theory. That could explain why Austin Reeves gets all these damn calls. I mean, he's already a guy that gets a lot of foul calls. But this year, he's been getting an exorbitant amount of foul calls, especially considering the fact he's playing with another guy, Luka, that gets 13 free throws a night. You got Austin Reeves getting 9, 10 free throws a night. Austin Reeves is averaging 28 plus points a night, 29 points a night, you could argue that the NBA is inflating his trade value just so that it could warrant him plus maybe another piece or other pieces to fit into a Giannis trade. I'm just saying, I'm just putting this out there. And if that occurred, I'm not saying I wanted to happen, but I could see the NBA doing that. And if Giannis did it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to say this. Giannis will be second banana to Luka, but all the expectations will still be on Giannis. And that's how it's going to work. It'll be Luka's team, which means that Giannis will have to fit. He'll have to augment his game. He'll be expected to augment his game to fit Luka's. And if he fails to do that, he's going to get the criticism, and he might end up regretting going to LA if he can't do it. But that's how it's going to be. Every missed free throw, every missed jumper, I wouldn't be surprised if they have goddamn Giannis launching three-pointers and shit. And he's not a three-point shooter. He'll get the Russell Westbrook treatment. I'm going to laugh my ass off. I'm going to laugh my ass off. You was the man in Milwaukee, bro. That's what you wanted. You know how good you had it. Partner. That's just a theory of mine. I could be wrong with that one. There's other teams that he could be traded to, but I could definitely see the NBA trying to pull that shit. Plus, I would think, like most teams, Milwaukee would probably want him to play in another conference and not be on a rival in the same conference, though that doesn't always work. We've seen a team, the Dallas Mavericks and Lakers, in the same conference, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.